Hi everyone, this is Ashley with CT Mina Digitals. I'm going to do a quick tutorial to show you how to use my new dust and smoke explosion digital backdrops in Photoshop. I created these for senior portraits. They're similar to the brick wall mascots that I already have in the shop. You can find those as well if you're wanting something a little different. These are best used on images shot on a black background. It is possible on other backgrounds, but it makes it super simple to use them if you have your subject on black with a minimal light source or just one light source coming onto your subject. I have open 4 images that I am going to use, and I'm going to just start with the first one. I'm going to go up to my quick selection tool and select subject. You can use your contextual taskbar too if you want, or however you want to select the subject. Use your plus and your minus tools up here to take away and add to your selection. There's a part down here on her arm that didn't select. I want to select that, and then I also want to select the ball. Okay, and then after you have everything selected, you want to go ahead and duplicate your layer and then create a layer mask. And then I'm going to click down here on my background layer. I'm going to go up to File and Place Embedded. And then you just want to navigate to the folder wherever all of your digital backdrops are saved here. There is a bunch of different mascots in here. If you do have a request, I will do one free request if there is a mascot in here, or mascot that is not included in here that you need for your school. Just message me. But for this one, I am going to use the bobcat. I just need to find it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna minimize my photo a little bit. Go ahead and resize here. Press that check mark. Okay, and now I'm gonna come up here and click this layer. You're gonna want to zoom in. Mine looks pretty good, but you want to zoom in and check the edges of your subject just to make sure they're okay. If you need to brush on or brush off at all, you would just go over here to your layer mask and use your black and white brush to brush on and brush off your subject if you need to clean up the edges at all. I can just show you real quick. Minimize my brush, 100% opacity. You can use a soft or a hard brush, but I just like to use a smaller soft brush. And then black is going to brush off, as you can see. And then white is going to brush your subject back on. That's just if you have any edges that you need to clean up. So I'm going to come back over and click on this part of my image because I want to move my subject a little bit here in the image, just so she's not right in front of the bobcat. Or actually, maybe move her a little bit so I can see both the eyes. Maybe I did want to keep it there because that actually looks okay. And then I want to create depth in this image, so I want to come down to the mascot backdrop, go up to File, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. Or sorry, Filter, not File. And I don't want to add a ton, probably just about 1.5 or 2, but you can add as much as you want, as much blur as you want to create more depth. For this image, I'm just going to add a tiny bit. Now I want to show you something else. I tried to keep these pretty neutral. I think the dolphin one I did in like blue, just to give it like kind of a water effect. But I tried to keep them neutral, so if you have colors for the school, for the senior that you're trying to use them for, you can kind of add that in yourself. It's super easy. All you have to do is create another layer above your digital backdrop, and then go ahead and right click and create clipping mask. You can also press Alt on your keyboard, and once that little arrow pops up in between those layers, you can click that, and that will create a clipping mask too. But I'm going to change it to color blending mode. And then whatever colors, say they're like red and black, you can come over to your colors here and select whatever color you want. Grab a soft brush. I would start at maybe like 25% opacity just so it's not like crazy color. And then just paint in wherever you want on the image, just to kind of add that pop of color for the school colors. If you had like 2 colors, like red and yellow, there's already kind of yellow in here, but you could add as many different colors in there as you want. And then that way it can be a little bit more specific to the school that you're shooting the seniors for. Okay, so moving on, it's going to be the same thing for everyone, but I just like to do a few just to kind of keep it rolling through. Again, select subject. Go ahead and duplicate that layer, create your clipping mask, click on the background layer, file, place embedded. Any of them will work. I'm going to do the stallion here. Resize. And then move my subject. Make the mascot a little bit bigger. Move it off to the side here so we can see both. Now I like to make sure the light source is coming from the same way too. You don't have to do that, but the light source is coming from the same one on the horse as it is the subject. That's personal preference. It does make it look better. I do suggest if you need to flip it, you flip the digital backdrop and not your subject, because then your subject's features are all backwards. I'm not going to add any more color into this one. I'm just going to go add a little bit of blur to the digital. Press OK. Done with this one. Next, cheerleader here. Zoom out, select subject. I know I didn't select all of that pom-pom. It's not going to be perfect. This is another reason why shooting on black is a good idea, because with black being in these digital backdrops too, it's a lot easier to blend your subject. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate the layer, create a layer mask, click on the background, file, place embedded, and I think use the panther for this one. Go ahead and resize a little bit. I'm actually going to make her a little bit smaller in this image. Move her over a little bit. But my digital backdrop needs to be extended a little bit more here. Okay, and then I'm going to brush off a little bit around her, just because it's kind of, there's like some brighter yellows around her, and she kind of looks copy and pasted. So I'm going to grab on my layer mask, my brush, my black brush here, 25% opacity is good. Just kidding, not my black brush, my white brush, because I'm brushing the subject on. And then I'm just going to brush around her a little bit so she's a little bit more blended. Okay, add my blur. Even do a little bit less for this one. And I'm done with this one. Next, I think this one's pretty cool. Select subject. Looks pretty good. Duplicate layer. Create a layer mask. Click on your background, file, place embedded. Definitely going to use the dolphin for this one. Resize. Move my subject just a little bit in this one. It kind of looks cool with her face next to the dolphin's face. Add blur. And done. A little bit more for this one, I think. You could add even a water overlay in here too, and that would look pretty cool. But super simple to use, especially if you're shooting on a black background. You should always have the digitals in mind when you're shooting your subject for whatever you want to use. So definitely black with minimal or one light source for your subject definitely makes these pop and makes them look a lot cooler for senior portraits. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. If you are a studio photographer, I would love for you to join my group on Facebook. I will link it in the description.